All right, the technology is working today. Good. Walk in, dance out. 4 words that essentially captures everything we wanted to create when we built ABBA the Museum. ABBA the Museum is a museum devoted to ABBA, one of the most famous pop bands in history. And it opened in 7th of May this year, so roughly 8 months ago. In the first 6 months, we had 200,000 visitors, roughly, and which we are very pleased with, of course. Stockholm many people has told us over the years that Stockholm needs an ABBA museum, and we have received a lot of good comments from tourists and from Stockholm Visitor Board and everything. So we're having a lot of visitors, which we are very happy about. Myself, I've been a part of the project since 2010, and Kevin was saying that he visited ABBA the museum in London, which was called ABBA World at the time. And we, together in ABBA World, we visited 5 different locations in London and Melbourne and Sydney and Győr in Hungary and Prague. But eventually, and the goal from the beginning was to bring this exhibition back home to Sweden, which we did. Myself, I'm CTO, or technical director, if you like, and my focus has obviously been AV installations, IT infrastructure, and interactive applications, etc. It's been a really exciting project. We're telling the story of ABBA, and the band members, their friends, the closest persons, the closest to them, but technology plays a vital role in telling the story. ABBA has a large fan club. On Facebook, they have more than 3.6 million likes on their official website. They have a very busy fan page, the official one. But we wanted to create a museum which didn't only speak to the fans and people growing up with ABBA. We also wanted to expand the visitors. And I'd like you to meet 2 of our visitors, Agnes and Petter. Agnes and Petter has a few things in common. They're both from Sweden, not the same city, but the same country. They speak Swedish, or Agnes, she's learning. They have both heard ABBA songs before coming to the exhibition, but none of them are real ABBA fans. And I'd like to show you 2 short videos, and I'll just show them, because I like them. That's Agnes. And Petter, this is his take. He was actually very nervous in the beginning, but look at him now. All right, we don't know too much about the future. Maybe we'll see Petter in American Idol 2014. Maybe Agnes will grow up and become a famous and successful musician. We don't know that. But I know, because I spoke to Agnes' parents and I spoke to Petter, he's a good friend of mine, that they had a fantastic time at our museum. And part of that was because of the interactive applications that we have designed. But I'd like to say that the user experience doesn't start at our door. And we need to become better at this. I think most museums do. But the user experience starts long before you enter the museum. And in a perfect world, it should end long after you leave the museum. And in the following slides, I will show you a little bit what we've done. One thing we've done before you enter the museum, and a little bit about what going on during the museum and after. So the visitor experience often starts with marketing. They see the ads on the subway. They hear the commercial on radio. And what we want them to first go to visit our website. Our website is a quite standard website for museums. It contains practical information, opening times, location. We have some interaction with where you can, for example, we have Spotify playlists that we designed ourselves. You can learn the lyrics and see the videos online. Eventually, and hopefully, you click Buy Ticket button, and you will get to our ticketing portal. And this is something that I believe strongly in. When you buy a ticket to ABBA the Museum, you don't buy a ticket to a specific day. You buy a ticket to a specific time of the day. And this is, each hour is divided into 4 quarters, and we have 4 sessions every hour. And in a user's perspective, this is a good thing, because you know that even if it's a busy day, if you pre-buy your tickets, you know that you can enter. And doing so almost without standing in any queue. For us, as a museum, it's also good because we can plan our resource. We know a couple of days how many visitors roughly to expect on Saturday or next Tuesday. In Sweden, this is a quite unusual system to have. We've seen it with ABBA while we used it in different locations, and we knew when we took it to Sweden that it worked abroad. And we wanted to make it work here in Sweden as well. And we can actually see a trend right now that more and more of our visitors, they adapt the system and they buy tickets before coming to the museum. Eventually, you got your ticket in your hand. Save the ticket. We will use it later. So you enter the exhibition, finally. We're down there. Then our museum starts with an introduction movie produced by Jonas Åkerlund. Jonas Åkerlund is famous for producing music videos for Madonna, U2, Rolling Stones. And he asked us if he could make a movie for us. And he wanted to put new eyes on old material. To make the videos from the 70s, put it in a new perspective. And he designed a video clip that is quite rapid, it's loud, and we display that in a room with a curved display wall. It's sort of an immersive environment. And I'm going to show you a short version, the 31st seconds of the video.
Really feels good to be back.
ABBA.
I've been cheated by you since I drove away.
Sweden's greatest export.
Mamma mia.
And back to what Nils said before about the curve looking like this, we wanted the curve to look like this. Right? And for most visitors, this really starts with a peak. What comes right after this is the folk park, which is a very calm place, and we learn about the ABBAs before they met each other. They were 4 great artists before they became 2 pairs or 2 couples that became 1 band. So it goes a little bit up and down. Eventually, we find the Ring Ring Room. Ring Ring was the first album that ABBA released. It was released in 1973. And it has, of course, its own space in the museum. In this space, there is a telephone. I think that one or two of you might have heard about it. This telephone, you can't lift the handle unless someone is calling. And only 4 people in the world knows the number. Can you guess who? Manuel is from Venezuela. He visited us in June, and he stood close to the telephone when it rang. He didn't understand what was going on. Everything was blinking, it was ringing, but obviously there was a phone, so he answered. He had a 3 minute or 2 3 minute private conversation with Frida from ABBA. And it's completely private. We don't record it, unfortunately. I want to, but I'm not allowed to. And when he was done with his phone talk, we don't know what they talked about, but he was shaking a little bit like I am right now. He said that he was moved and that he was very, very happy. And I think this is a quite fun design. You don't just interact with the museum, you interact with the people behind the museum. And it's not applicable on all museums, but we have the fortune of working with a museum where all 4 of them are still alive, and all of the 4 of them are healthy. Then we move on to the Polar Studio. This is after ABBA got broke through in '74. They spent so much time in the studio. They wanted to have perfection in every song they released. So they decided, let's build our own studio. They built the Polar Studio. And this is a quite traditional museum environment in many ways. You can see the guitars, the basses, the drums, the studio equipment that you normally have in a museum or in a studio. But we've also added 3 small singing booths to the side of it. The feeling that we want you to have is standing in the studio. And standing in the studio, what do? You record songs, right? So we let you record your own song. In a quite, we've all seen karaoke. This is karaoke, so it's not a new invention, but we apply it in a way that people really enjoy, because they have a feeling that they're standing in the Polar Studio recording an ABBA song. So that's one of the interactives we have. Another one that is quite nice is the piano. You see the blurry picture down in the left. Benny has a similar piano in his studio, and these 2 pianos are connected. So he can actually play in our museum live. And this is a video from last week. You need to have luck sometimes. And we have a few lucky visitors. And Benny, last time I spoke to Benny, he said that I'd like to take requests. Request a song and I'll play it live for you. So if you're lucky and you visit our museum, you might actually get to request a song from Benny. How cool isn't that? We have also we heard 2 talks about motion sensors. ABBA was all about clothing, obviously. We all remember, or I don't, I was 1.5 when they stopped playing, but we've all seen the pictures at least. They had very special clothing. And we wanted to create an application where you can actually try out virtual ABBA clothing. We use the Kinect device, maybe you use the same. And this is just the beginning. This is a fun application. You dance around to music and you can see the clothing moving along. But the first thing you do is actually that you make a 3D scan of your face, and we glue that onto a model that you later control with your body. Yes. We move on. You saw Petter in the beginning. This is what we call become the 5th member. And if you've gone on the ABBA train, we have our own train to Djurgården. It says ABBA the Museum. There's a seat called Be the 5th member. Take that seat if you ride the train. In the museum, this is based on Peppe's ghosting technique, it's called. The technique is an illusionist technique. It's a few hundred years old. And we applied it to let people become the 5th member, to enter the stage and to sing along. And this is also actually a big karaoke machine, because you get the lyrics appearing magically in the air in front of you. Not too many people, I have the pleasure of doing that today, but not too many people actually go on stage. But here you can do that, and we're friendly, and most of our guests are. All of our guests are friendly, and you always get applause after you're done. And this is very appreciated, and also it's been seen a lot in media. We received a lot of media coverage for this application or this installation. But we wanted, as I said a couple of slides ago, we wanted to connect and extend the experience. So what you do in the whatever you do in our museum, or when you interact with the applications, you use your ticket. And the ticket is the least common denominator of all our visitors. We all have cell phones, different brands. We all have equipment, but everyone got a ticket. And on that ticket, there's a unique barcode. And we can use that barcode not to identify you as a person, because we love you, but we're not interested in who you are, your email addresses. We use the barcode to align whatever data you record in the exhibition. Basically, it goes down in databases and file structures. But using the barcode, you can later on go to the website, you punch in your barcode, and you can download the media that was recorded during your stay. And different applications record different things. We have video, audio, images, and so on. And your page currently looks like in the picture here. What we want to achieve with this is, as I said, first extend your memory, let the visit live longer. But in a museum perspective, it's also a good way for us to reach out to other people that haven't heard about our museum yet. So when you enter your page, you're free to publish your files on Facebook, and you can download them to your computer and send it by email, or send it to YouTube or Instagram or whatever. So I'm getting to the end of my speech, actually. This was quite fast. The benefits of using interactives, in my perspective, are plenty. We enable the visitor. We pull them not to have the visitor just as an observer, but they create their own experience. And we want, for us, what we want to achieve is happy visitors that learn a lot about ABBA. And our interactives or interactive applications makes it easier to learn, and we can expand the crowds. We have families that have a hard time drag their 12-year daughter out of the exhibition because she wants to sing and dance more. And often they come back, which of course is good. And also the interactive system that we have designed for us as a museum is good because we get coverage in media, and especially social media. The time slotting system that I mentioned, as I said, I think it's something that I strongly believe in, and I hope that we can have many discussions about that later. But I think I see advantages both for the visitor. You don't have to, if you go to the museum, and you don't have to stand in line even when it's busy. You can plan your day. You know that I will enter this time and I will be done roughly this time. So you know what time you will hit another museum or the restaurant. And yes, resource planning. And we also see, because some time slots in the middle of the day or some part of the day, this gives us the opportunity to package them in different ways to even out peaks and lows in the number of our visitors. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, we have, yes, this is my contact details. Thank you.